There is a race taking place right now, and most people don't even know they're in it. Not a race against your neighbor, not a race against your coworkers, not a race against some billionaire on the other side of the world. The race is against your own internal clock. And let me tell you something. The people who win before the year ends are rarely the smartest people. They're rarely the most talented. They're rarely the luckiest. They're simply the people who learn how to make their days work for them instead of against them. Think about that for a moment. Every year begins with excitement. January arrives and everybody feels powerful. Everybody feels motivated. Everybody feels ready. Everybody creates goals. Everybody creates plans. Everybody promises themselves that this year will be different. But then something happens. Weeks pass. Distractions appear. Comfort returns. And suddenly this urgency that existed in January disappears in February. Then March arrives. Then April. Then May. Then June. And before they know it, people start saying the most dangerous sentence in the world, I still have time. I learned something years ago that changed my life forever. One day I was sitting with a mentor. He was older than me, wiser than me, and far more successful than me. I asked him a question. I said, why do some people seem to accomplish 10 years of progress in 2 years, while others spend 10 years staying exactly where they are? He smiled. Then he said something I'll never forget. He said, most people think success is about managing money. Some think it's about managing people. Some think it's about managing opportunities. But success begins when you learn to manage time. Then he paused, and he added something even more powerful. No, not time. Everyone gets 24 hours. Success begins when you manage energy inside time. That hit me like lightning, because there are people who have the same 24 hours as everyone else, yet somehow they create extraordinary results. Why? Because they understand their internal clock. They know when they are strongest. They know when they are focused. They know when they are creative. They know when they are distracted. And they build their lives around those realities instead of fighting them. Here's what most people don't understand. The competition isn't sleeping. The competition is reading. The competition is practicing. The competition is improving. The competition is developing skills. The competition is learning communication. The competition is learning discipline. The competition is investing in themselves. And every day you delay, someone else is accelerating. Now, don't misunderstand me. This isn't about becoming obsessed with other people. This is about understanding reality, because life rewards movement. Life rewards action. Life rewards consistency. The marketplace does not pay you for your intentions. It pays you for your value. And your value grows when your habits grow. Think about an ordinary person, no special connections, no wealthy family, no extraordinary talent, nothing exceptional. But imagine that person decides that from this day forward, they will wake up 1 hour earlier every single morning. 1 hour, just one. Most people won't even notice the difference. But let's do the math. 1 extra hour every day becomes 7 extra hours every week. 7 extra hours every week becomes more than 360 extra hours every year. 360 hours. That's the equivalent of weeks upon weeks of focused improvement. Now imagine those hours are invested in learning, reading, building skills, improving health, creating a business, developing communication, practicing leadership. What happens? The compound effect begins. And the compound effect is one of the most misunderstood forces in the world. People overestimate what they can do in 1 day, but they underestimate what they can do in 1 year. A single workout changes very little. 100 workouts change everything. 1 page of reading changes little. 1,000 pages change your mind. 1 disciplined morning seems insignificant. 200 disciplined mornings create a different person. That's why mastering your internal clock matters. Because your future is being built in invisible moments. The moments nobody sees. The moments nobody applauds. The moments nobody posts online. The moments when you decide whether to stay comfortable or become capable. And let me tell you a story. There was a man I once met who worked long shifts every day. He wasn't rich. He wasn't famous. He wasn't gifted with extraordinary advantages. He had responsibilities, bills, stress, fatigue. Excuses that would have sounded perfectly reasonable to anyone. Yet every evening after work, he spent 90 minutes learning a new skill. 90 minutes. Some nights he was exhausted. Some nights he wanted to quit. Some nights he questioned whether it was worth it. But he kept showing up day after day, week after week, month after month. And something incredible happened. Not immediately. That's the part people hate. Nothing happened immediately. No miracle. No breakthrough. No dramatic transformation. Just slow progress, tiny progress, invisible progress. The kind of progress that feels disappointing when you're living through it. Then 1 year later, his life looked completely different. Different income, different confidence, different opportunities. Different future. What changed? His internal clock changed. While others were spending evenings consuming entertainment, he was spending evenings creating a future. While others were saying tomorrow, he was saying today. While others were waiting for motivation, he was practicing discipline. And discipline is a fascinating thing because discipline is misunderstood. People think discipline is punishment. It isn't. Discipline is freedom. The disciplined person becomes free, free from regret, free from dependency, free from chaos, free from constantly starting over. Think about that. The person who controls themselves gains control of their life. The person who cannot control themselves becomes controlled by circumstances. And circumstances are terrible leaders. If you allow circumstances to decide your future, you'll spend your entire life reacting instead of creating. Here's a question. How many dreams have died because someone kept saying, later? How many books were never written? How many businesses were never started? How many talents remained hidden? How many lives remained average? Not because people lacked ability, but because they ignored the clock. The greatest thief in the world is not failure. The greatest thief in the world is delay. Delay steals dreams. Delay steals potential. Delay steals confidence. Delay steals momentum. And the dangerous thing about delay is that it feels harmless. 1 day seems insignificant. 1 week seems insignificant. 1 month seems insignificant. Until suddenly, years have disappeared. I once heard someone say that the saddest thing in life isn't death. The saddest thing is arriving at the end of your life and meeting the person you could have become. Imagine that meeting, the stronger version, the wiser version, the healthier version, the disciplined version, the successful version, the courageous version, standing in front of you. And realizing the distance between who you became and who you could have become was created by daily decisions, small decisions, tiny decisions, repeated decisions. Because your life is not built in years. Your life is built in days. And your days are built in hours. And your hours are built in moments. Which brings us back to the internal clock. The most successful people develop a relationship with time. They respect it. They protect it. They invest it. They understand that every morning arrives carrying opportunity, but opportunity has an expiration date. Think about a farmer. The farmer understands seasons. Planting season matters. Waiting too long matters. Preparation matters. Timing matters. And your life operates the same way. There are seasons for learning, seasons for building, seasons for sacrifice, seasons for growth. And if you miss those seasons repeatedly, you create unnecessary difficulty. Here's what most people don't understand. The final months of a year often determine the next year. While many people are slowing down, successful people are speeding up. While many people are waiting for a new year to start, successful people are creating momentum before the calendar changes because they understand a secret. January doesn't magically create discipline. January doesn't magically create focus. January doesn't magically create success. The habits you carry into January determine what January becomes. If you're undisciplined today, you'll likely be undisciplined next month. If you're focused today, you'll likely be focused next month. That's why the best time to change is now. Not next week, not next month, not after the holidays, not after conditions improve. Now, because action creates clarity. Action creates confidence. Action creates momentum. And momentum is one of the most powerful forces in human achievement. Once you build momentum, things begin to feel different. You start keeping promises to yourself. You start trusting yourself. You start believing in yourself. And confidence grows, not because someone motivated you, not because someone encouraged you, but because your actions provided evidence. Evidence is powerful. When you consistently show up, your mind starts believing bigger things are possible because every disciplined day becomes proof. Proof that you can change. Proof that you can grow. Proof that you can become more. And that's when the game begins to change. Because success is rarely about information. Most people already know what to do. Ride more, learn more, exercise more. Waste less time. Improve communication. Develop skills. Stay consistent. Most people know these things. The challenge isn't knowledge. The challenge is execution. The challenge is acting when you don't feel like acting. The challenge is moving when comfort is calling your name. The challenge is staying committed after excitement disappears. And that's where champions separate themselves from the crowd. Not during easy days, not during exciting days, not during highly motivated days. Champions separate themselves during ordinary days. The days when nobody is watching, the days when progress feels invisible, the days when results seem far away, the days when excuses sound convincing. Because those ordinary days are secretly building extraordinary futures. And if you can master those days, if you can learn to command your internal clock instead of obeying your moods, if you can develop the ability to act before you feel ready, if you can create urgency while others remain comfortable, then something remarkable begins happening. You stop chasing success. And success begins moving towards you because the marketplace notices consistency. Opportunities notice preparation. Leadership notices reliability. Life notices discipline. And little by little, without even realizing it, you begin becoming the person you once admired from a distance. The person who seemed so organized, so focused, so productive, so confident. And then one morning, you wake up and realize that transformation never arrived as a dramatic event. It arrived disguised as daily decisions. Which is why I want you to think carefully about the next few months. Not next year, not someday, the next few months. Because somewhere right now, someone is making a decision that will change the trajectory of their life. They're opening a book. They're practicing a skill. They're studying after work. They're exercising despite being tired. They're saying no to distractions. They're investing in growth. And while the world sees nothing unusual, a future advantage is quietly being built. I want you to picture something before we leave this room together. Picture yourself 1 year from today. Stand there for a moment in your imagination. The year is over. The days have passed. The opportunities have come and gone. The mornings are gone. The evenings are gone. The conversations are gone. The excuses are gone. The distractions are gone. And now there are only two things left. The person you became and the person you could have become. Think about that. Because one day, every one of us will meet that version of ourselves. The stronger version, the wiser version, the healthier version, the more disciplined version, the courageous version, the version that did not quit, the version that refused to surrender to comfort, the version that kept moving when nobody was watching, the version that understood that destiny is not built in giant moments. It is built in ordinary moments repeated with extraordinary consistency. And when that day comes, I hope there is no distance between the two of you. I hope you don't have to look into the eyes of your own potential and wonder what might have been. I hope you don't have to ask yourself why you waited, why you delayed, why you doubted yourself, why you spent years negotiating with your future. Because let me tell you something, the pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. One asks something from you today. The other takes something from you forever. And life will ask all of us to choose. Choose between comfort and growth. Choose between excuses and responsibility. Choose between distraction and purpose. Choose between the easy path now and the meaningful path later. You do not need a perfect plan. You do not need perfect conditions. You do not need certainty. You do not need permission. You do not need everyone to believe in you. You simply need to take the next step. Then the next. Then the next. Because every great life is built exactly that way. One disciplined choice, one courageous decision, one productive day, one promise kept, 1 hour invested, one excuse defeated, again and again and again, until the person staring back at you in the mirror is no longer the person who started. And hear me clearly, there is more inside you than you have shown the world, more strength, more courage, more discipline, more leadership, more creativity, more greatness, more purpose, more potential. You were not created merely to survive your days. You were created to shape them. You were not born to spend your life wondering what was possible. You were born to discover it. The future you want is not hiding from you. It is waiting for you to become the person capable of creating it. That is why today matters. That is why this moment matters. That is why this decision matters. Because years from now, when people look at your life and ask when everything started to change, it may not be because of some dramatic event. It may not be because of luck. It may not be because of circumstances. It may be because of a single decision, a decision made in a quiet moment, a decision to stop waiting, a decision to stop delaying, a decision to stop underestimating yourself, a decision to finally take control of your internal clock and your future. So when you leave here today, don't just feel inspired, act. Don't just agree. Meve, don't just dream. Build, don't just wish for a different life. Become the person capable of creating one, because the clock is moving, the year is moving, life is moving. And whether you act or not, the days will continue to pass. The question has never been whether time will move. Mm-hmm. The question is whether you will move with it, whether you will rise, whether you will grow, whether you will become. And someday, when you look back on this season of your life, I hope you can say with absolute certainty, this was the moment I stopped waiting for my future and started creating it. This was the moment I stopped letting comfort decide my destiny. This was the moment I finally trusted the greatness that was already inside me. This was the moment everything changed. And if you can make that decision today, if you can commit to that path today, if you can take action before fear disappears, before confidence arrives, before conditions become perfect, then mark my words. The person you are becoming right now will do things the person you are today cannot yet imagine. Stand up, take ownership, trust yourself, honor your potential, protect your time, master your days, master your habits, master your internal clock, and go build a future so powerful that 1 year from now, when you meet the person you could have become, you will recognize them instantly because they will already be you.